Most coaches are never going to make $10,000 a month training athletes online. And the sad reality is it has nothing to do with how good of a coach they are. And after working with nearly 300 sports coaches across a dozen plus different sports, I've realized that the coaches that have success with online training are oftentimes not the best coaches. So in this video, I'm going to explain what the difference is between coaches who actually scale to 10, 20, 30, 50, $100,000 a month. I've had two clients actually that scaled past $100,000 a month training athletes online. And the coaches who stay stuck, who really never make any sales online. They say that online training doesn't work. They just give up and they blame the opportunity. They blame the athletes. Oh, the athletes don't want the help. The parents don't want the help. It's like, well, then why are there hundreds of people out there actually having success with online training? And it's because they are focused on the wrong stuff. You see, most sports coaches think because, typically their business relies on word of mouth and referrals and different things like that. Most sports coaches think that if all they do is just do a good job with their athletes, that they're going to get more business. And I wish that was true. But on the internet, it couldn't be further from the truth, right? And so the difference that I have seen between the most successful coaches that I've worked with is not their pedigree. It's not their experience as a coach. It's not the market that they're in. It's that they focus on the things that are the most important. Okay. And so I was on a call with a client earlier today, and, he's done pretty well with online and he's done pretty well with hybrid, but he's not really getting to where he wants to get to in the online side. Okay. He wants to make $10,000 a month with just online training. And he's asking me, about, how do I make my program better and how do I train my athletes better? And, I don't know, should I optimize my profile a little bit more? Just like a bunch of to be honest with you, little bullshit, right? He's majoring in the minor details. And, at the end of the day, I think this is something that a lot of coaches struggle with, is that they mix up activity with productivity, right? Because they make doing stuff the goal because they get paid hourly, typically. That's how most coaches are. And the mental shift that you need to make as a sports coach, if you want to actually scale an online training business, is you need to think about actually providing value, okay? Not just being active, not just coaching people for hours, okay? And so he puts his identity in the fact that he's a hard worker. So he feels like he needs to do all these different things. And he's like, Nick, how do I optimize my program? I'm like, well, tell me, are your athletes getting results? He's like, yeah. I'm like, do they talk about how great it is to work with you? He's like, yeah. I'm like, well, then why are we trying to change anything? Why are we trying to optimize the program here? Isn't the point of the program to get athletes results, to help them get better? So if the point of the program is to help athletes get results, is to help athletes actually get better and help change their lives, and we're doing that, why would we change what we're doing? We're actually risking changing something that's working, right? And this is a mistake that I made when I played, is I would try and trade up good for a perceived better reality, right? A perceived better situation. But most of the time, guys, when you make a change, it's going to have a negative impact on, whatever it is that you're trying to do. When I was playing baseball, right, I would be in a groove. I would be hitting pretty well. And I'm like, oh, I bet if I, move my hands a little bit or got a little bit more of a load or whatever, I would have even more power. Then I'd produce even more. And then what would happen? I would go into a fucking slump every single time because I was trading up something that was an unproven to be great, when all I needed to do was just keep doing the things that were working, okay? And so how do I relate this to online sports coaching? Well, most coaches, because they pride themselves so much on being a coach, that all they focus on is coaching the athlete, coaching the athlete, coaching the athlete. It's like, dude, once you have a good program and your athletes are getting results, it's all about marketing and sales. It is all about marketing and sales. And a lot of coaches reject this idea. They're afraid of the word sales. right? Oh my goodness. I just kicked my desk. I'm going to leave that in here. Most coaches are afraid of the word sales. And like, I guess I get it, right? Because people don't want to be too pushy. They don't want to convince people, things like that. But it's like, yo, at the end of the day, if your goal is to make $10,000 a month, you have to make sales. You have to exchange services for dollars. And if you truly believe that you can help somebody get a result, then why would you not try and convince them to give you money in exchange to help them get that result? Like, it's actually a little bit backwards. Like, it's actually selfish because you are afraid of looking like an asshole. That's the reason why coaches don't want to sell. I'm just going to say that out loud. Coaches don't want to sell because they're afraid of looking like an asshole. They're afraid of being told no. So they project their fear of being rejected and being seen as somebody who's pushy or arrogant or a dick or, whatever it is. And then they just say, oh no, I don't want to have to sell. It's like, good luck being poor then. Like, you can't complain about how you have your income attached to your time and then not focus on finding a way to detach your income from your time. Okay? That is just living in a reality where the world hates me and poor me, right? If you're that type of person, you should unsubscribe from my channel. You should get lost. You should never watch my stuff again because you are a victim. But for the people out there that are watching this, that actually understand that in order to get results that you've never got before, you have to do things that you've never done in order to actually get there, right? It sounds very, very simple. And so the real juice, guys, if you want to make $10,000 a month as a sports coach, here's exactly what the fuck you need to do. You need to post content that gets your ideal athlete to follow your page on Instagram in particular, right? You could use another platform. Instagram, we've seen, does the best. Okay. Number 2, you need to reach out to all those people who follow you. You need to have conversations with them in the DMs. Do not be a robot. Okay? You need to be a normal human being. Then you need to book calls with that athlete and the parent, get them on the call and pitch them a high ticket program. Okay? Ideally, you're charging $2,000 plus for your program because then you only need to make 5 sales per month in order to actually get this, in order to actually get your training business to make $10,000 a month. $2,000 for a 6-month program is $333 a month. Let's say you charge $100 an hour. You're actually charging less than you would anyway. Okay. So mathematically speaking, that's what you need to do. Okay. But most coaches, once they've built their program, they try and optimize and tweak in my bio and this and that. All you need to do is drive traffic, have conversations with those leads, and then pitch them that you can actually help them get an outcome in exchange for money. That's how business works. Okay. So if you're a coach right now and you're struggling, maybe you're not making $10,000 a month. You're not making $20,000 a month. You're not where you want to be. Start focusing on the shit that drives the money. Start focusing on the things that actually matter. Because if your goal is to make more money, you need to focus on the actions that lead to making more money, which is making more content and having more sales conversations. Guys, coaching is the easy part. It is not hard to get athletes results. All they got to do is do something consistently and then have you there for them when they have questions and to support them when things aren't going well. That's what coaching is. You're just doing the same thing over the phone. Okay? So if you're a sports coach and you want to learn how you can actually make $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month, book in a call with me down below. Either way, hope you got a ton of value out of this video. Catch you in the next one. Peace.